Hello, there is Dina here of Soul Purpose Publishing and Coaching. Today I want to talk about the CCCC Behaviours. And the CCCC stands for Criticise, Condemn, Compare and Compete. Now, these are behaviours that focus on lack. They're all coming from the attitude of lack, of not good enough, of surviving. Now, criticize is actually something, and I'm sure you've heard this before. When you criticize someone, you are actually criticizing something about yourself that you see in someone else. And as we know, the people around us are our mirrors of how we see ourselves. So when you find fault with anyone around you, any one of your loved ones, they know, or a friend, they know this is something, that behavior that you actually recognize as within yourself. It's in your vibration. And that's why it upsets you when you see it in someone else, because it just glares at you. Now, of course, when we condemn is when we see something that we want, like say a new car or success or a house or something, and we see someone else has it. And then we criticize that, we condemn that, we attack the person, even if we don't do it to their face, maybe talk to someone else, or we think the thought, look how ridiculous that person looks, probably stinking rich, probably got their money from being scaly practices. My language actually left me there. So when you want a nice car or anything, success or anything, and you see someone else has it, they know that the universe is showing you that's possible. And instead of condemning, rather say, wow, that is such alignment. Look at that. And be grateful for what you have and say thank you for that blessing that's coming to you. So that's all about the condemning part. Now we move on to the comparing and the competing. Now, of course, these are all conditioning. We've been conditioned to compete, to compare, to criticize, to condemn. And because of we have been conditioning to see ourselves as separate from anyone else, separate from the universe, from God, that we feel the need to compare ourselves to others. In other words, then we can either feel superior or less than. When we feel less than, then that's a sign of, self-contempt, self-loathing, self-doubt. In other words, you don't believe in yourself. And as I said in previous videos, there is no need for comparison. And also, so often we see the person being so successful at, the peak of their success. We don't see the many years of preparation, of hardship, of struggle. So we look at the last bit and we compare ourselves to that, but we don't see where they come from. So rather, instead of comparing and competing, be inspired. Be inspired by their persistence, because nobody, gets successful overnight. Nobody. You have to work at it. You have to be persistent in your pursuit of your vision. You have to develop that obsession of your desire. Only then will you achieve that kind of success? So to compete also, of course, as I said already, comes from a mindset of lack, of I have to struggle, I have to put someone out so that I can go first. And the universe is, the supply is unlimited. There is no reason to compete. It's not necessary. There are more than enough clients for everyone in any kind of profession, any industry. There are more than enough clients and buyers and customers. So there are more than enough homes. There are more than enough cars. There is just an unlimited divine supply of everything. We don't need to compete. In fact, when we don't get something that we wanted, we need to realize that it's either a blessing, it is not for us, it's not for our highest good, and there's something better. There's something even better, and that's why we didn't get what we actually set out to do. Now, of course, when we do these behaviors of criticizing and condemning, competing, comparing, is those are very low vibration emotions and thought processes. In other words, if you have a vision, and definitely you must have a vision, we must always be definite with the infinite of what it is that we desire. If you engage in these behaviors, you cannot attract what it is that you want from this low vibration. So these are important behaviors to let go of. If you look at criticizing yourself or someone else, change that and replace that with compassion. With compassion for yourself, because recognize I see something in someone else reflected to me about myself, and have compassion for that. And rather be curious about the, being critical. Be curious. Where does this come from? What is it in myself? Where do I show these kind of behaviors? So gratitude is a very important emotion here. Gratitude for yourself, for what you have. Gratitude when you compare and say thank you. Thank you for that, and bless the person who has that car that you want, who has the success that you want. Bless them and say, thank you. I wish you even more success. I wish you more wealth, because that raises your vibration, and your appreciation for noticing the abundance that person is experiencing attracts that to you. Does that make sense? Just want to check my notes here. Yeah. So be inspired by others' alignment. Be compassionate with yourself. Have compassion with whatever you are struggling with, whatever trigger you experience. Be curious about that rather than judging yourself or someone else. And remember, there's an unlimited divine supply of everything. We don't need to compare. We all one, all on different journeys, and we don't need to compete. Thank you so much for your time. I'll see you soon.